Alright, welcome back. This is part 2 of module 1, class 1. I hope you understood sections 1 to 6 from the previous video. We covered a lot there. Human behavior, needs, wants, demands, the psychology behind decisions. If any of that felt heavy or new, that's completely okay. You can rewatch it anytime. Now in this part of the class, we're going to go deeper. And honestly, what you're about to learn now is one of the biggest reasons why marketing succeeds or why it fails. So let's get into section 7, the target audience. Let me ask you a simple question. When a business posts something online or launches a product or runs an ad, what do you think? Who exactly is it meant for? Because here's the truth. Marketing is not about reaching everyone. It's about reaching the right people. You can have the perfect message, but if the wrong person sees, it will fail every single time. And this is where beginners struggle. Have you ever shown a movie you love to someone? You're all excited. This movie is brilliant. And they are literally falling asleep. Why? Because the movie wasn't for them. This is exactly what happens in marketing. A business posts something on Instagram or runs an ad and nobody responds. Not because the product was bad, but because the message reached people who didn't care. You can bake the world's best cake, but if the only people who see your ad are on a strict diet, the cake won't sell. So if you forget everything else today, remember this one line. Who you talk to matters more than what you say. Let me repeat that slowly. Who you talk to is more important than what you say. If you understand this deeply, you'll already be ahead of most beginners. Imagine a gym in your city. If I ask you who their audience is, you might say, well, anyone who wants to get fit. But that's way too broad. A 20-year-old student who wants abs thinks differently from a 45-year-old busy parent who just wants energy. Someone trying to lose weight thinks differently from someone trying to build muscle. So if the gym posts a random ad saying, join now and get fit, it speaks to nobody. But watch, what happens when the message is specific? Just like, hey busy parents, we get it. Finding time is hard. That's why we created a 30-minute express workout designed just for you. Now the message hits the heart. It feels personal. It feels like someone understands their life. And that's the power of knowing your target audience. Let's say you're running ads for a skincare brand. If you are targeting teenagers, your content is colorful, fun, energetic. If you target women in their 30s, your content would be calmer, more mature, more informative. If your content is for men who know nothing about skincare, your content would be simple, direct, problem solution style. So one product, 3 audiences, 3 completely different messages. This is what real marketing looks like. Let me tell you, you'll hear these words everywhere in marketing. So let's simplify them. Number 1, demographics. Demographics is basic details like age, gender, location, income, and job. Then comes psychographics. How people think, values, beliefs, lifestyles, interests, fears. Then psychographics. Psychographics is how people think, their values, beliefs, lifestyles, interests, fears. Then comes behavior traits. What do they want? Why do they buy? What they search? How they behave online. Nothing scary. These are just different ways of understanding people. So grab your notebook. This is a simple but powerful exercise. Look at any product you use at home, your phone, your shampoo, your headphones, your favorite snack, anything. Now write down, who do I think this product was actually made for? Think about what age group, what lifestyle, what kind of personality or mindset. This activity trains your brain to think like a marketer by observing real life. Take 20 to 30 seconds to do it. Pause the video if you need to. And let me tell you something important. When you work in digital marketing, people will ask you, who should we target? Who will respond to this content? Who is our ideal customer? What type of audience should we run ads to? See, beginners panic at these questions, but you won't. Because you'll think, what do they need? What do they want? What emotions drive them? What is their routine like? What frustrates them? What excites them? This is what separates someone who just presses buttons from someone who thinks like a strategist. And if you ever run your own business, this will save you thousands of dollars, because most struggling businesses don't have a product problem. They have a target audience problem. They try talking to everyone and end up talking to no one. Whenever I ask a new client, Who are your customers? Do you know what most people say? Everybody. And that's the biggest mistake. Marketing only becomes powerful when it becomes specific. Your job as a marketer is to help businesses find the right people, not more people. This one mindset shift will make your work stand out. Alright, that brings us to the end of section 7. If you understood this properly, you have unlocked one of the most important truths in marketing. Because once you know who you are talking to, everything else becomes easier. Your content improves, your ads perform better, your messaging becomes sharper, and your confidence grows. In section 8, we'll go deeper into something that takes this concept even further: segmentation. This is where we learn how to divide audiences into meaningful groups so our messaging becomes laser focused. So take a breath, stretch if you need to, and I'll see you in section 8. Hello everyone, welcome to section 8. In the last section, we talked about target audience, basically who we are talking to. Now we are going one level deeper into something that separates average marketing from really smart marketing, and that is segmentation. Don't worry about the word. I know it sounds a bit textbooky. By the end of this section, you'll feel like, oh, that's all it is. So what is segmentation really? Let's keep it super simple. Imagine you're standing in front of a room with 100 people. Not all of them are the same, right? Some are teenagers, some are parents, some are working full-time, some are students, some love fitness, some love gaming, some are on a budget, some don't care how much they spend. If you try to talk to all 100 people in one single message, most of them will switch off. Segmentation is just this. Instead of treating everyone the same, we divide people into smaller groups so we can talk to each group in a more relevant way. That's it. No rocket science, no scary theory. We're just saying, let's not treat all humans like one big blob. Let's understand their differences and talk to them accordingly. Think about a good school teacher. In one classroom, they might have a student who learns better by listening, one who needs to see visuals, another who understands only when they get real-life examples, and someone who needs a bit of repetition. If the teacher explains everything in one single style and never adjusts, a lot of students will feel lost. But when the teacher understands, okay, these students are visual, these ones need examples, these ones need more time, they start teaching differently to each group. That's a quick example of segmentation in the classroom. In marketing, we are doing the same thing, but with customers. Let's talk about Netflix for a second. Have you noticed Netflix doesn't show everyone the same homepage? You might see thrillers, someone else sees romantic dramas, someone else sees stand-up comedy, someone gets documentaries. Why? Because Netflix is constantly segmenting its audience based on behavior. What you watched, what you liked, what you stopped halfway, what you binge in one night. Now, Netflix doesn't send you a message saying you are in our people who love mystery thrillers and dog segment. But that's exactly what's happening behind the scenes within their algorithm. So segmentation keeps people engaged because they are seeing content that feels made for them. In marketing, the same thing happens with ads, emails, content, offers. The more this is for me it feels, the better it works. Let's say you're selling water bottles. Technically, anyone can buy a water bottle. But in reality, athletes want lightweight, durable bottles they can carry to the gym. Office workers might want something sleek that looks good on their desk. Students might just want something cheap and colorful. If you create one generic message like, buy a water bottle, it's good, you are talking to everyone and no one at the same time. But when you segment, your messaging changes. For office workers, you can say something like, a bottle that looks as sharp as your work outfit. For hikers, you can put something like, designed for the outdoors. Drop it, scratch it, it keeps going. Same product category, different segments, different messages. That is segmentation doing its job. In marketing, you'll hear 4 types of segmentation a lot. I don't want you to memorize them like a school exam. I want you to actually understand them. Let's go through them like a proper class. Number 1 is demographic segmentation. This is the simplest layer, the basic facts about people. It includes things like their age, gender, income level, education, job or occupation, family status, like whether they are single, married, they have kids, etc. So why does this matter? Because a 17-year-old high school student and a 45-year-old business owner are living very different lives, even if they both like the same product. A high-income person might happily pay $80 for a t-shirt, but a student might carefully think about a $20 purchase. Demographics give us basic outer picture of the person. Next comes geographic segmentation. This is just about where people are, their country, city, suburb, even climate. This matters because people's needs change with the location. For instance, a heater sells better in colder places. Surf gear sells better near beaches. Language, culture, and local habits change region to region. Even within New Zealand, people in Auckland might respond differently than people in a smaller town, just because their lifestyles and daily routines are different. So business might say, we want to target homeowners in Wellington suburbs, or we want to reach students in central Auckland. That's geographic segmentation at work. The third type of segmentation is psychographic segmentation. Now we go inside the mind. This is about how people think and feel. Things like their values, their beliefs, their interests and hobbies, their personality, their lifestyle, what they care about, fear, or dream of. For example, two people might both be 30 years old, live in the same city, and earn similar money. Demographically, they look the same. But one values sustainability, buys eco-friendly products, cares about the planet. The other doesn't care about that at all and focuses on convenience and price. So if you're selling eco-friendly products, your psychographic segment might be people who care about sustainability and conscious living, not just people aged 25 to 40. Psychographics help you connect on a deeper emotional level. The other type of segmentation is behavioral segmentation. This one is all about what people do, their actions, like what they buy, how often they buy, what pages they visit on a website, whether they add to cart and leave, whether they open emails or ignore them, whether they are a new customer, a loyal customer, or someone who left. Let's take an example. Someone who visited your website 3 times this week is very different from someone who visited once a year ago. Someone who always buys during sales is different from someone who buys at full price anytime. Digital platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads track a lot of behavioral data. As a digital marketer, you'll use this to create smarter campaigns. Alright, grab your notebook, write down, pick one product you use every day. Let's say your phone or your favorite snack or your earphones. Now, I want you to write this in your notes. Number 1, demographic guess. What kind of age group or income level do you think this product is mainly targeting? Number 2, geographic. Is it more suited to people in cities, small towns, certain countries? Write it down. Number 3, psychographic segmentation. What kind of mindset or lifestyle does this product fit? Busy, fitness focused, tech lover, eco-conscious, it could be anything. Number 4, behavioral segmentation. How often do you use it? And how would the brand look at your behavior? This doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is to train your brain to see people in segments, not just as everyone. If you actually do this with a few products over the next few days, you'll start thinking like a professional marketer much faster. Let's say you're working in a digital marketing role. Your manager may say, hey, we want to run a campaign for people who visited our website but didn't buy. That's a behavioral segment. Or he can put like, we want to create a separate campaign for people aged 18 to 24 in Auckland. That's demographic plus geographic. Or they can say, we want to target parents who are health conscious and looking for better food for their kids. That's psychographic. When you understand segmentation, you don't feel lost when you hear these instructions. You're like, I know who we are talking to and how they're different from others. Companies love marketers who can think like this because it reduces wasted ad spend and it increases results. Let me give you a simple scenario. Imagine I'm working with a gym in New Zealand. At first, they were posting one type of generic content. Join our gym, sign up now. Same message for everyone. Then we looked at their audience properly and realized they had nervous beginners who had never been to a gym, busy parents who only had 30 minutes, young people who wanted to build muscle, older members who just wanted to stay active and mobile. So we started segmenting. For beginners, we made content like, first time in a gym, here's exactly what to expect in your first week. For busy parents, we did 30-minute express sessions while your kids are at school. For older members, we put sub-content out like, stay active, flexible and confident, no heavy weights required. Did the gym change as a business? Not really. But the communication became specific. People felt seen and understood. Engagement went up. inquiries went up. That's segmentation in action. Why this matters for you for long term. Whether you want a job in digital marketing or you want to run your own business one day, segmentation will quietly sit behind almost everything you do. The way you plan content, the way you write ads, the way you design offers, the way you choose platforms, the way you speak to different groups of your audience. Most beginners jump straight into tools. Which button do I click in Facebook Ads Manager? Which setting do I choose in Google Ads? But the real power is here, in understanding which segment you are talking to and what matters to them. The tools are just the delivery. Segmentation shapes the message. Alright, that's section 8. Now you not only know what a target audience is, you also understand how to break it into meaningful groups using segmentation. You've seen why talking to everyone doesn't work, how brands like Netflix quietly segment you, what demographics, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral really mean, and how this knowledge plays out in real campaigns. If you keep practicing this way of thinking, you're not just learning digital marketing, you are learning how to think like a strategist. In the next section, Section 9, we are going to connect this to something extremely powerful, your value proposition. Why someone should choose you instead of someone else. This is where segmentation becomes strategy. Take a short break if you need to, have some water, look at your notes, and when you're ready, I'll see you in Section 9. Alright, welcome to Section 9. By now, you have understood who your audience is and how to break them into meaningful groups using segmentation. Now we are going to connect it all to one of the single most powerful ideas in marketing. Something that influences every ad you create, every landing page you write, every business you help, and even every interview you walk into. We're talking about your value proposition. And I want you to listen closely here, because once you really understand this, you'll instantly think like a more advanced marketer. Let's ease into it step by step. You know, in the real world, people are flooded with choices. Think about how many cafes are around you, how many skincare brands, how many phone models, how many restaurants, how many digital marketing agencies even. So the question becomes, out of all the options, why should someone pick you? That answer, that reason is the value proposition. It's the clear promise of value that tells someone, this is for you and here's why. And I don't want you to think of this as some fancy marketing phrase. You experience value propositions every single day, even if you haven't realized it. For example, imagine you are choosing a gym. You walk into gym A and they say, we have machines and trainers, okay? But so does every other gym. Then you walk into gym B and they say to you, we help busy professionals get fit in just 30 minutes a day, even if you have tried before and failed. Feel the difference? Gym A talked about themselves, but Gym B talked about you, your lifestyle, your struggles, your hopes. That right there is a value proposition. It's not about features, it's about meaning, it's about relevance. Let's break it down in a way that feels natural. A value proposition is simply the connection between what people want, what your product or service actually offers, and why your option is the better fit for them. When those three pieces align, your marketing becomes magnetic. But when they don't, your marketing feels flat, no matter how pretty your graphics are or how much money you spend. This is why I always say, people don't buy products, people buy what the product means for them. A coffee isn't just a coffee. A phone isn't just hardware. A gym isn't just equipment. The meaning is the magic. Let me give you a small everyday example so this sinks in. Imagine you're rushing to work and want a quick coffee. One of the cafes says, we sell coffee. The other one says, handcrafted coffee, ready in under 2 minutes, perfect for your busy morning. Who are you choosing? The second one, right? Because their value proposition wasn't coffee. It was saving your time. Same product, different promise, different meaning. That's what makes marketing powerful. Now let's take a techie example. Suppose there are two phones. Phone A says 128 GB storage, 6 GB RAM, fast processor. Phone B says a phone that keeps up with your lifestyle, multitask, capture memories, and never lag. A talks like an engineering manual. Phone B talks like a human who understands your day-to-day life. A strong value proposition feels like someone stepped into your world and said, hey, I see you. I get what you're trying to do. Let me make that easier for you. Now, you might hear marketers use the word USP a lot. That's unique selling point. This is simply one specific thing that makes a product stand out. But a value proposition is bigger than that. A USP is like one slice of the pizza. A value proposition is the entire pizza, the full promise, the full emotion, the full reason to choose you. You don't need to memorize anything. Just remember this. A USP is what makes you different. A value proposition is what makes you desirable. Let's slow down and turn this into a small learning activity. Grab your notebook again. I want you to write down 3 simple things about one of your favorite products. Number 1, what problem does it solve for you? Number 2, how does it make your life easier or better emotionally? Number 3, what makes it better than the alternatives you have used? Go ahead and write that down. This is how you train your marketing brain, by understanding your own buying decisions first. Because if you can understand why you choose something, you can understand why anyone chooses anything. Now let's bring this into the real world of digital marketing careers. If you work in social media, you'll use the value proposition in your captions, in your ads, in your hooks. If you work in SEO, your website must communicate the value proposition in seconds. Otherwise, people will click back. If you work in paid ads, your entire campaign strategy revolves around a clear value proposition. If you work with clients, most of your early conversations will be about clarifying their value proposition. Because many business owners don't even know what their value proposition is. And here's something interesting. In many job interviews, when companies ask things like, how would you position this product? What message would you use in this campaign? Why would customers choose this brand? They are indirectly asking if you understand value propositions. If you can speak about this confidently, you immediately sound like someone who understands real marketing, not just someone who knows how to run ads. Let me share a quick story from my own client work. I once worked with a cleaning company here in New Zealand. Their website headline said, we offer cleaning services. Now think about that. Every cleaning company on planet Earth offers cleaning services. So that headline wasn't helping anyone choose them. When we talked to their actual customers, we discovered something deeper. Most of their clients were full-time workers who hated coming home to a messy house after a long day. So we changed their value proposition to come home to a clean, peaceful home without lifting a finger. Guess what happened? Inquiries increased almost instantly because now they weren't selling cleaning. They were selling peace of mind. They were selling the feeling of walking into a calm home. They were selling emotion behind the service. And that is exactly what a good value proposition does. That brings us to the end of section 9. This was a big one, but such an important one. Once you understand how to answer the question like why should someone choose us, your entire marketing becomes more strategic, more confident, and more meaningful. In the next section, section 10, we're going to bring everything together and talk about something foundational, the marketing mix, the 4 Ps. This is where all your understanding so far starts turning into actual strategy. So take a moment, stretch your shoulders, sip some water, and when you're ready, I'll see you in section 10. Alright, welcome to section 10. By now, you understand your audience, you know how to segment them, and you understand how to create a value proposition that actually means something to them. Now we are going to put all of that into a proper marketing framework, something used by every major company in the world, and something you'll use too, whether you work in a job or run your own business. This framework is called the marketing mix. When a business is planning how to bring a product or service to the market, there are 4 main decisions they must get right. What are we offering? How much will it cost? Where will people find it? How will they hear about it? These questions form the 4 Ps. These 4 Ps are product, price, place, promotion, and that's it. 4 simple words. But underneath these is the entire marketing strategy of a business. Number 1, product. What are you really selling? When I say product, don't just think of the physical thing. A product includes the experience, the design, the quality, the packaging, the usefulness, the feeling it gives you. For example, when you buy a laptop, you're not just buying metal and plastic. You're buying the speed, the convenience, the feeling of being productive and capable. Even a simple cup of coffee is not just coffee. It's warmth, comfort, energy, routine, a break from your day. So when a business defines its products, it's really answering what value are we truly offering people. Before we go ahead, do a quick mental exercise. Pick any object near you, your watch, your headphones, your bag, and ask yourself, what is the real value this gives me? This is how marketers learn to see products differently, not as objects, but as experiences. The second P is price. What message are we sending with our pricing? Price is not just a number. Price is psychology. Think about this. When something is very cheap, you question the quality. When something is priced higher, your brain automatically expects it to be premium. When something is mid-range, your brain looks for justification. Have you ever wondered why luxury brands rarely discount? Because a lower price would affect how people feel about the brand. Price tells a story, and price must align perfectly with your target audience, value proposition, product quality, and brand positioning. For example, a student and a corporate executive have completely different expectations and budgets. If you price your product wrong, even by a little, everything else collapses. So pricing in marketing answers, how do we want people to perceive our product? And that perception shapes demand. The third P is place. Where should people find this? Place sounds simple, but it's deeper than it appears. Place is not just location. Place is convenience. It answers the question like, where is the best place for our ideal customers to find us? For example, if your audience is always on Instagram, your presence must be strong there. If your audience prefers shopping at physical stores, the brand must be in those stores. If your audience uses Google to find services, your SEO and Google ads become your place. If your audience uses Uber Eats or DoorDash, that becomes your distribution place. Even McDonald's is a master of place. They pick spots near highways, schools, busy intersections because place affects convenience and convenience affects sales. So place is simply the answer to where would we show up so customers can find us effortlessly. The fourth P is promotion. How will we communicate the value? Promotion is what most people think marketing is. But now you know it's just one piece of the puzzle. Promotion is about communication. It's about storytelling. It's about helping people understand your value proposition in a meaningful way. Promotion includes social media content, emails, influencer collaborations, brochures, events, branding, offers, website copy, videos, campaigns, and I can keep going on. Basically, anything that helps people notice you, understand you, and remember you. Promotion answers this question. How do we emotionally and logically show people why this product matters? It's where you finally take your understanding of the audience, segmentation, and value, and you bring it to life in actual communication. Now, let's bring all 4 P's together so it feels real. Imagine a dessert cafe opening near a university. Here's how they use 4 P's. Product. Affordable, fun, Instagrammable desserts designed for students who want a quick treat. The price. Student-friendly pricing, cheap enough to buy often. Place. Located near the university, plus listed on Uber Eats, plus active on Instagram. Promotion. Funny reels, student discounts, late night deals, and influencer shoutouts. See how everything aligns? Nothing is random. Every decision supports the audience and the value proposition. That's the power of the 4 P's. Now grab your notebook for a moment. Pick any product you love, maybe your favorite cafe, a gadget, or a skincare item, anything. Write down number 1. What is the real product value you think they offer? Number 2. Does their pricing make them feel premium, affordable, or budget? Number 3. Where do you usually find or buy this product? And number 4. How do they promote themselves? This exercise helps you internalize the 4 P's naturally. And trust me, once you start seeing the world through the lens of 4 P's, every product around you will make more sense. Now, why this matters in your career? Look, if someone in a job interview asks, how would you market this product? Most beginners freeze, but you won't. You'll calmly walk them through the 4 P's. First, I'll understand the product, then I'll identify the right pricing strategy, then I'll define the best place or distribution, and finally, I'll plan the promotional strategy. That's the answer of someone who thinks like a marketer. not just someone who knows how to run ads. Even if you run your own business one day, these 4 P's will help you avoid random decisions. They give you structure, clarity, and direction. Well, and that brings us to the end of section 10. Today, you didn't just learn the 4 P's. You learned how real businesses actually plan their strategy. From understanding what they are selling, to choosing where they show up, to communicating their value. Alright, we have made it to the final section of class 1. Before we dive into anything else, I want you to pause for just 2 seconds and realize how much ground you have covered today. Seriously, you didn't just watch something. You attended a proper class. You sat through deep concepts, real examples, real marketing thinking, and you have built a foundation many people skip for years. Let's quickly reflect on what you actually accomplished today. You learned what marketing really is. It's understanding people, not just running ads. You learned the difference between marketing, advertising, sales, and branding. You also went through the entire customer journey from who are you to I trust you. You also understood needs, wants, and demands, the psychology behind why people buy. Then we went through how to identify your target audience, who you are really talking to, why segmentation matters, and how dividing people into meaningful groups makes your message sharper. We also learned what a value proposition is and why it's the heart of your business. And finally, the marketing mix, the 4 P's that every real marketer uses to build strategy. This is the foundation that everything else in digital marketing rests on. If you understand even half of what we discussed today, you're already far ahead of most beginners who jump straight into tools and tactics without ever understanding people. And I want you to actually acknowledge that progress. Take a moment, look at your notes, even if you wrote only a few lines, and appreciate that you've just taken your first real step into a field that can improve your income, your confidence, and honestly, the way you see the world. Now, before you move on to class 2, I want to give you 2 important instructions. First, please don't binge watch all the classes like Netflix. I upload one class every fortnight for a reason. Marketing isn't something you consume, it's something you absorb. Your mind needs time to connect the dots, practice things, observe brands around you, and notice how you yourself behave as a customer. This gap between classes is intentional. I want you to explore these concepts in your real life. Notice how you react to ads. See how brands position themselves. Pay attention to value propositions when you shop. Observe how the 4 P's show up in different places. Real growth comes from awareness, not speed. So take your time, practice what we have covered today, let it settle in your mind. The second thing, this is your chance to prepare doubts and questions. During these 2 weeks before the next class, if something confuses you or you want more clarity, write it down. Because marketing becomes easier when you are curious. And I truly want you to understand this field, not rush through it. What's coming in class 2? Now let me give you a little sneak peek so you know what's next. Class 2 is going to be fun. We're going to explore the evolution of marketing. How we went from newspapers to radio to TV, all the way to the digital world we live in today. Get some rest, hydrate, relax your mind, and I'll see you in class 2.